Stranraer could also boast an engine depot, and filmed in the shed yard in early 1962 was Carlisle-based 72005 Clan MacGregor. A major industrial feature of the Doon Valley in southwest Ayrshire was the coal mining complex of Waterside, 3 miles from Dalmellington, and part of the National Coal Board's West Ayr area. The system operated a fleet of tank locomotives, and a feature of operations at Waterside was the use of a cut-down wagon next to the locomotive to carry extra coal. Number 24 was typical of the locomotives in use, and was built by Andrew Barclays of Kilmarnock in 1953. Number 17 was another Barclays-built locomotive, leaving their Kilmarnock works in 1913 at a time when the blast furnaces of the Dalmellington Iron Company were still in production. A feature of number 24 was an elongated thin chimney, a characteristic of locomotives fitted with a Giesel multiple jet blast pipe. This was claimed to improve the locomotive's steaming and power output, particularly with poor quality coal. Production of deep mine coal in the Doon Valley ended with the closure of the Pennyvini mine in 1978, after which time most of the industrial rail system was dismantled. Until the end of steam on British Railways, much of the coal traffic from Waterside was handled by ex-LMS Crab 260s from Ayr Depot. Having left the Ayr to Stranraer line at Dalrymple Junction, a train of empties from Ayr approaches Waterside Station, which lost its passenger service in 1964. The most impressive structure on the Waterside branch is the curved, 16-arch Dalrymple viaduct, which carries the branch over 80 feet above the Percluan-Burn and B472 Dalrymple to Maybow Road. Apart from occasional visiting locomotives, Ayr Depot closed to steam in October 1966, and with the closure, the sight of a crab working the Waterside coal trains passed into history. Often seen at Ayr were the BR-built standard Class 4 tank locomotives, 80091 having arrived on a local working from Kilmarnock. Following 80091 through the station, with a train of coal empties for Waterside, was one of the several LMS-built crabs allocated to Ayr Depot. A more unusual visitor to Ayr in April 1962 was the ex-Caledonian Railway number 123 with the Scottish Rambler Rail Tour. Number 123 had taken part in the famous 1888 Race to the North, and in recognition of this feat was taken out of service in the 1930s. However, it was returned to traffic in 1959, together with 3 other Scottish pre-grouping locomotives for use on special workings. Kilmarnock Station, where until the mid-1960s, standard Class 4 tank locomotives handled many of the local services. On the whole, the standard 4 tank locomotives were reliable, but on this occasion a broken connecting rod has brought the locomotive and its train to a halt, possibly due to water entering the locomotive cylinder and preventing the piston from moving. The motion has inevitably given way to the immense strain placed upon it. The locomotive was on the approaches to Woodhall Halt, on the Glasgow to Greenock route, and Aid in the form of another Standard Class 4 and a team of fitters was summoned from nearby Greenock Ladyburn depot. Wrong line running kept the route operating, and Standard Class 5 73059 passes with a service for Gourock. We return to Carlisle, with a 9F entering Kingmoor Yard from the south and passing under the Carlisle to Edinburgh Waverley route. Running into Carlisle from the Waverley route on the original North British Railway line, Class A4 Merlin crosses the West Coast Main Line as it heads for Kingmoor Depot. A St Margaret's V2 60813 heads for Kingmoor Yard to collect a freight destined for Edinburgh's Millerhill marshalling yard. Design of the Kingmoor Yard called for the construction of a new exit route from the north end of the yard in order to join the Waverley route at Longtower, 10 miles from Carlisle. Leaving Kingmoor Yard, 60813 climbs to cross the West Coast Main Line on the original MB route. Waverley route, it was 98 miles from Carlisle to Edinburgh, and to the south of the Scottish capital, a new marshalling yard was built at Millerhill. In common with Kingmoor and other large yards that were opened in the early 1960s, Millerhill's reason for existence was fast disappearing, as the coal industry contracted and goods traffic was being lost to road transport. However, in these 1963 scenes, there appears to be plenty of activity, as a freight, headed by an Ivat 260, exits the north end of the yard. Following the Ivat with another mixed freight is Class J37 64577 of Dundee's Tay Bridge depot. Motive power was supplied by St Margaret's depot, and passing the yard, an A3 and the Black 5 head south with a train of truck chassis and bodies from the British Motor Corporation factory at Bathgate.